Welcome to Fantasy Fanline.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Fantasy Fanline. We are back on this beautiful Tuesday night with a very special My Guy episode. Next to me, my right-hand man, Sinker. What's up, buddy? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. My guys, draft season. We're still going, cooking. I'm ready, man. This is it. This is it. This is what we've been waiting all summer for.
It's the best time of the year, man. We're gonna talk three guys at each position: quarterback, running back, receiver that we're all in on. Are my guys, and we're gonna answer some mailbag. Again, this is a call-in show. I will put that number up. Give us a ring. Let's shoot the shit. It's draft season. We are so close. We can feel it in our bones, and we're so excited. So let's just get into it, man. We're going to bring back a guest we had last year, one of the best pages on Instagram, if not the best. Very sharp. Please welcome back Ari Koslow, all the way from the West Coast, joining us on Fanline. What's up, Ari? Welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on again. I had a lot of fun last year and look forward to doing it again tonight.
Yeah, can't
man.
wait.
Welcome to the show. Can't
wait. So without further ado, we're not gonna beat around the bush here. We're gonna jump right into some questions. So let's get to it. Who is the better 6th, 7th round value between Mike Evans and Mike Williams in redraft? I'll kick this to you, Ari.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Williams has never been a player that I've been really huge on fantasy-wise. He's always kind of been, like the big play, big touchdown type of guy, red zone threat, but, also super inconsistent, kind of like week to week. But then Mike Evans kind of been the same way where, season to season, he's always been consistent, 1,000 yards, but not so much week to week. And now you have the unknown of Baker Mayfield and all of that. So, I mean, for me, if I had to choose, it's Mike Evans just because I trust him a tad bit more, consistency-wise and yardage-wise. Mike Williams, between, the nagging injuries he's had for most of his career and also just how big play dependent he is, he's just kind of been a player I haven't really been targeting. Obviously, he's going a little bit later this year compared to the past couple of years. So if you're in on him, he's a better value in that regard. But for me, it's Evans here.
I'm with you, man. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I trust Mike Evans. He's never really let anyone down. 1K his whole career. And Mike Williams has. He's let plenty of people down. He was always supposed to have these monster years, and he's boomer bust. He always gets hurt. So to keep it short and sweet, I'm taking Evans over Williams 10 out of 10 times. How do you feel about it, Sinker?
Yeah, I think Mike Evans is the safer play here, even with Baker getting named the starter today. I've spoke on it on previous shows, though. I do think Kellen Moore is going to revamp that offense. I think Herbert's going to cook. If Mike Williams does stay healthy, there is a possibility here where he does smash in that round. But again, it's a possibility. He's a home run hitter guy, so it's is he going to get those deep targets? Is he going to catch them? Is he going to stay healthy? A lot of question marks. Where Mike Evans, true and true. I mean, 1,000-yard guy. If they get towards the end of the season and Mike Evans is anywhere close to 1,000 yards, they're just going to be hyper targeting him.
Completely agree.
So yeah, I mean, probably Mike Evans for me, but I don't hate Mike Williams at all. So
yeah, I'm not completely out on Williams. If the price is right, I'm obviously going to want a piece of that Justin Herbert led offense, but I just feel safer with Mike Evans. Like I would prefer Mike Williams in a best ball league, but in a redraft league, I'm definitely going to take Mike Evans. And that's a little spoiler because one of the questions that came in today, who will be this year's Gabe Davis, aka a receiver that you draft, 5th, 6th round, and just doesn't pay out. Just doesn't pay out for the round you took him. And mine was going to be Mike Williams because I think he fits that bill. He's just like so boom or bust. And I'll keep that short and sweet as well. If you guys have anything anyone else to add to that, Sinker?
Yeah, I mean, like, so Gabe Davis was going a little bit later than Calvin Ridley, but I could see a situation where Calvin Ridley doesn't return value at his ADP. I love Calvin Ridley. I'm drafting a ton of Calvin Ridley, but we've had the discussion before with Kirk going a couple rounds later. I think it's a safer bet. He's not going to go away. If anything, it's going to be more of a 1A, 1B type deal. And I just don't know if he's going to get the volume to return. I think he's going like early third now in a lot of leagues. So, I'm in on Calvin Ridley, but that's a little too rich for me.
I'm seeing people take him in the second round, which is way too rich for me. And I Ridley's crazy talented, but he hasn't played in so long, and I could definitely see it happening. I wouldn't put money on it, but I think that's a good one. Ari, how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Williams was a player that I had in mind as well. Another player who, like, I'm not off on necessarily, but Christian Watson is a player I could see kind of fall in that category of, boom or bust, new situation, new offense. There's been some reports out of camp of, Romeo Dobbs, potential. Not that I'm buying into him being the number one target, but, those reports have been out there. So, I mean, I'm not out on Christian Watson. I think 5th round for his upside is worth it. But to me, running backs are more valuable. I like more in that kind of 5th, 6th, 7th round range than the wide receivers this year. That's kind of been the kind of dead zone for running back, I feel like, in recent years. But to me, I like them a lot more this year. So, that's one receiver I could see fall into that kind of Gabe Davis trap. Not that I'm necessarily off him at that value, but just that risk kind of in that range.
Yeah, I'm sure Sinker will have something to say about that. We could save that for later. Just want to give a shout out to everyone watching, showing love. Connor, Daniel, Nate Shot, not on Apex, chilling with us here.
Shout out Nate Shot.
Big Lou, always showing love.
Yeah, I do just want to touch on Gabe Davis too. I think, where he's going now in drafts. What are your guys' thoughts on that? Are you liking where his ADP is now? I think he's a lot safer now. You're not having to take him so early, and he's still tied to a high efficient offense.
I love it. I think he's like a classic post type sleeper. If he's going like mid 8th to even early 9th, I think that's like a smash. You know what Gabe Davis can do.
Right.
You as a Chiefs fan definitely know what Gabe Davis can do.
Yeah,
the
dude,
guy can have these monster games.
Yeah, whenever he plays the Chiefs, just put him in your lineup. I mean, that's a given. I don't know why. I don't know what it is, man, but
yeah, I mean, Gabe was banged up himself a little bit last year too, and then Josh Allen also had the elbow injury that affected his deep ball as well. So I definitely agree with him being a post type sleeper.
Yeah,
glad we're all on that. Yeah, so like last year when the 5th round didn't work out so well for you, you can't just because he burnt you last year doesn't mean you have to think towards the future. It's a different year. And if you see him sitting there, late 8th round, early 9th round, you have to consider him. You have to consider what offense he's on, and you've seen him get it done. So take that into consideration. Yeah, what round is Gabe going? I'm seeing him in like the 8th, 9th round in a lot of mocks I've been doing. All right, speaking of my guy, since it's a my guy show, I was always told to go and get your guys when it comes to fantasy drafts. When is it okay to reach for a player that you're high on? My answer to this is like, if you know he's not going to make it back to you, it's not a reach. Get your damn guy, just because the ADP has him like 7 spots under the top guy there, you can't draft like that. You gotta trust your gut feelings, and you gotta go get the players you're high on. So, obviously, you don't want to take Gabe Davis in the 5th round if you're high on him. You can wait a round or two. But if you have a feeling the guy you're high on is going to be gone the next round, it's not a reach. I don't care what ADP says. I don't care what the tier sheets say. I don't care what any of that says. You go and get your guy. You both agree with me on this one, Ari?
Yeah, I never really understood why people get wrapped up with ADP, because it's like it's different on every platform, and I've seen some people kind of mix up like the preset rankings, let's say on ESPN. Like that's not ADP, that's just like their preset rankings. So if you go to like ESPN ADP, then it's different than what the preset rankings is. So I mean, as much as we want to win in fantasy football and all of that, we also want to draft the guys that we want, and not draft guys just because their ADP is this round and all that. So, I mean, of course you don't want to draft a guy, let's say in the 4th round, who's going in the 8th round, like you said with Gabe Davis, let's say. But, if you want to draft a guy, let's say a round and a half earlier than where they're usually going, don't want to take the chance on that player not falling another round or round and a half, then there's no reason why you shouldn't feel like you can't get that guy, because you never really know how your draft is going to go and how your league mates feel about that, said player and all that. So, I mean, you want to take the preset rankings if you're going to draft in line and all that into account to an extent. But at the end of the day, you want to draft the players that you like, that you're high on, that you want to land.
For sure. Like, take Khalil Herbert in the 7th round. Take Sky Moore in the 9th if he's a 10th round pick. If you don't think he's going to make it back and you're high on this guy, go get him. Sinker, How you feeling? Feeling the same way?
Yeah, I mean, also just know who you're drafting with, right? So if it's a home league, just know what their tendencies are and just know, is this guy going to get back to you or not? I mean, I think I always try to risk it. I'm like, if it's a guy that could fall to the next round, I always try to push it, and every single time I'm getting sniped on that guy. So I think just take your guys. There's a lot of tools out there. You could tier up and make your own tier list. And if that guy is the head of, your tier, go ahead and just reach for him. There's nothing wrong with reaching. ADP is just a guide of what the general public is doing. But yeah, get your guy.
Or you can play the game, as they call it. That's what you said. Hope he makes it back. But
yeah, I'm the king of that, dude, and it doesn't work. So
yeah, most of the time you get burnt on that. Let's keep it moving. All right, Swift, Sanders, Madison. Who are you drafting? I guess we'll just rank them. As of today, I'm gonna go Sanders, Madison, Swift. I know Swift has a bunch of talent. He was my guy last year. Didn't work out for me. I mean, he didn't really kill you, but he killed you for where you were drafting him. So that kind of sucked. But I get the hype on Madison. I wouldn't be shocked if they bring in a vet, though, and I still think they will. I just don't know if he can get the full work. I don't know. I hear a lot of analysts and experts. They're in on Madison this year. And I don't know if I am unless I'm getting him for a discounted price. I don't know if I'm in on him at ADP. Miles Sanders, I know he had the injury scare, but he's back in practice. Should be a safety blanket for a rookie quarterback over there. He should see a lot of targets. The offense is going to rely on him a lot. So he's number 1 on this list for me. Swift, the talent's there. They have like 400 running backs though on that great offense, and he's a good guy to have in best ball, but that's going to be hell when you're going to set your lineups. And I don't know. This one's kind of easy for me. It's Sanders, Madison, and Swift. Sinker, how do you rank them?
I'd probably go, as of right now, since I haven't signed anyone, I'd probably go Madison, Swift, and Sanders. And so the only reason I'm out on Sanders is just because history says that running backs tied to a rookie quarterback, they're not efficient. I don't think Sanders is all that good. I don't think that offense is going to be really good. And I think Swift has an upside. I think he is, yes, it's a 3-headed back right now. That's what you're hearing. But Swift is the best running back on that team. And his upside is there. He's got the catching ability. He's just tied to, I mean, they might be the best offense in the NFL. So I want a piece of that pie. And I want to, I'm gonna take it whichever way I can get it. If Swift is going too early for me, I won't take it and I'll wait, but I just want a piece of that pie.
Yeah, I definitely agree that Swift's a baller, and he could definitely have monster weeks. I just feel like it's going to be a headache over there in Philly when they use all these backs. Ari, how you ranking these guys?
Yeah, it's pretty easily for me, Madison, Sanders, Swift. They've been tied to Kareem Hunt, so we'll see if that happens. But even then, I still think Madison will be leading on the early downs, and we'll have Hunt on the passing downs. Sanders, he should see the volume, but I agree that the offense probably isn't going to be great. It's going to be more like a volume kind of mid to low in RB2, I think. And then Swift, we know the talent that he has, and he definitely has the highest upside of these three, in the best offense, not situation. But I agree that on a week-to-week basis, he's just not going to be extremely reliable unless he is seeing that consistent involvement in the passing game, which is possible. But obviously, you have the tendency of mobile quarterbacks not really throwing to running backs as often as other quarterbacks. So we'll see how that plays out. But we have the reports of Gainwell maybe being the RB1 there, Penny maybe not even making the Week 1 roster potentially. So I think the Eagles' backfield as a whole is going to be like one of the most efficient units in the league. But week to week, it's going to be tough to kind of figure out who's going to be that kind of lead guy. I think it's going to be more of a a hot hand type of deal.
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Hopefully that does clear up at some point, just for us fantasy players. It's like I would love just a Swift to just be the RB1 there. It'd be so nice. Hey,
as a Giants fan, I don't know.
So we got a call. Do you want to take it now, or do you want to hold on?
Yeah, let's bring him on.
Joseph, are you there? Thanks for calling Fanline.
How'd you know this was me?
Caller ID, man. How you doing?
What's good, boys? Happy 2023. I'm back in action. Sinker, I don't know if you know me. I'm the #1 fan, obviously. And Sanchi, what's good, bro? I miss Greg, man. Shouts out to Greg, dude. Hope all is good with Greg. But I wanted to come on and say, hey, Ari, what's good, bro? And I have one quick question. I'll hang up and answer, and I'll keep calling back each week. But for now, I just had my draft. Huge, big money stakes auction draft last weekend. It's Sharks. No one gives an inch. But I was able to get Jonathan Taylor for $36. Do you think he's going to play? And is he going to play for the Colts? And if not, who's the best handcuff? Is it Zach Moss or Deion Jackson? I'll hang up and listen. Love you guys. I won last year, just so you know. Thanks to the channel. So I owe you guys a lot.
Thanks for calling in, Joseph. Nice to meet you too, man.
That was my question, man.
You too, man. Have a great show. Oh, I won, dude. I freaking won, dude. Sorry.
Joe from Boston. No, you're good, man. I remember on the last show, you're like, I'm in the ship. Really important. I was like praying all year that you would call back and tell me you won. So that was a weight off my shoulders.
For sure, dude. You guys, yeah. Thank you again, and I'll hang up and listen. And thanks again. Have a great night.
Thanks, Joe.
You too, bud. Good to hear from you. Joe from Boston,
Later.
man.
Good to hear from you too.
What a guy. Jonathan Taylor. We have some comments on Jonathan Taylor. Let me pull him up. Best fit for Jonathan Taylor. Does this new team increase or decrease his draft value? Jonathan Taylor to Miami. I wish I was a fortune. I wish I could see into the future because, I could be sharp about fantasy football, but you know how I'll answer this? Who the hell knows at this point, man? I think he's going to get traded. I think that those bridges have been burnt in Indianapolis. I think he wants out. But the big question is there going to be a team that's willing to give up a first-round pick for a guy with nagging injuries who wants a big contract on the I really can't see a team giving up a first-round pick. But if I did, it'd probably be Miami. And I think he'd be an amazing fit in Miami. I think they have a great offense going there. And they add him. I heard rumors of Buffalo, but I don't know if the Bills are going to do it. But, as I said, I love fantasy football, but I can't predict the future. So my guess is as good as yours. As far as handcuffs, Anthony Richardson's the handcuffs. That dude's going to run for 1,300 yards if Taylor's gone, man. I don't want any of those backs. I would want Richardson just because he's going to run like crazy without Taylor. But as of now, maybe Miami, maybe Buffalo. We're just going to have to be patient, and hopefully that news comes out before our drafts. Joe, I'm sorry you had the draft already, but that could be a smash value when it's all said and done. Ari, how you feeling about JT?
Yeah, I think Miami makes the most sense if he is traded. They were heavily linked to Dalvin Cook as well. I think they gave him an offer as well before his sign with the Jets. if they do trade them, I'd be shocked if they don't sign, Kareem Hunt or Fournette. I don't really see them going into week 1 with this current backfield. I think Evan Hull, I believe is his name. I think he would be probably the passing down back, so he would probably be the Colts, running back to roster right now behind Taylor in, just in fantasy football. But chances are that's probably where we're going to see Hunt or Fournette land if they do trade Taylor.
Yeah, I'm with you there, Ari. Sinker, how do you feel about JT, and where do you think he's going to go if he goes anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, I think best case scenario for JT is he gets traded. So you've already invested in him and you already have JT on your roster. So I think right now it's just keeping your fingers crossed and hoping he goes somewhere. I agree with both of you guys. I think Miami would be a great spot for him. And yeah, they were tied, like Ari said, to Dalvin Cook. So I think that's a real possibility. The news that's coming out is probably truthful. It's just about how much value the Colts want for him and what, the Dolphins are going to give up. But the Dolphins are close to being a contender, so it might make sense for them to make a move like that.
Yeah, A-chain owners are clenching right now, man.
They're
clenching.
And then, I just think that's one of those backfields that it's just not worth taking a handcuff. So I think, if you're going to if you're trying to handcuff your own team, I guess it makes sense, but none of those guys are going to do anything. I like Ari's take. They'll probably bring someone if they trade JT.
For sure, 100%. Big Lou, the Colts fan. Colts going committee. Moss is early down. Hull is a pass catcher. D-Jax is a mix of both. That screams fantasy nightmare.
Zach Moss, Zach Moss broke his arm too, so I don't even know.
Oh man. Fingers crossed for you, Joe, and hopefully we can get you back-to-back ships this year. Thanks for calling as always. We'll do one more question, and then we'll start the My Guys. This one's fairly easy. I'm sure a lot of people are facing this dilemma. Who do you like at number 2 in PPR leagues, Chase or CMC? And I'll kick this off. And I don't think you could go wrong with either. And I think you have to look at your the roster positions in your league, because I lean Chase if you have to start 3 receivers. But if you only have to start 2 receivers, I'm kind of itching to draft CMC. It's like in full point PPR. I mean, there's way more wide receivers later than like stud running backs who can get you the point CMC can. But this is all down to preference and how you want to build your team. I'm leaning Chase and 3 receivers, but you can't go wrong with either one. Just make sure you have your plan set up for the 2-3 turn, hoping you get your guys. All right, who do you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that you can't really go wrong. For me, it's McCaffrey, especially in 2 wide receiver leagues. It's still McCaffrey for me in 3 wide receiver leagues, but in the Throne League, we had the 2 pick, and Chase was a vote, and I wasn't against Chase. So I agree. It's really personal preference and how you choose how you want to build your team based on who you think you could land, at the 2-3 turn, and then even the 4 or 5 turn. There's some RB2s potentially in that range that I like as well. So yeah, I agree that it's really personal preference at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. You agree, Sinker?
Yeah, I mean, again, just echoing you guys, you can't go wrong with either one. Be lucky that you got, a 1-3 pick. But this just happened to me this weekend. So I had I picked the 3. I was hoping CMC would fall to me. I just like the wide receivers on the 2-3 turn so much that it's like, if you can get CMC and just go with like an anchor RB type strategy, like Ari said, I mean, you can get your RB2 in the 4th or 5th, but yeah, 2nd and 3rd round. Also the T Higgins effect, right? If you take Chase, you're not going to take T Higgins, but if you go CMC, you can grab Higgins on the turn. So can't go wrong with either one. I kind of lean CMC though at 2.
All right. We got a question from Tommy Donuts. Going to Vegas on Thursday, who do you predict to be the rushing and receiving yards leader? Well, as far as the rushing, I won't say it now because I have a little spoiler. It's a My Guy episode, and we'll get into him later. But you got to play the odds, man. Give me some odds. You could go bet Jefferson or Chase, but I'm sure they're on the top. Without looking into it and just going off your question, give me Jamar Chase, receiving yards leader. What do you guys feel? Like off the top of your head?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead. All right.
My bad.
Yeah, I think Chase as well for me receiving yards, and I'm not sure if he's the favorite rushing wise or top 2 or 3. But one guy I like a lot this year is Bijan Robinson. That's a potential. I don't know if he's considered a dark horse or not. Probably not. But I mean, I assume he's not the odds-on favorite. I would assume, and the Falcons led the league in total carries last year, so I think even if Algier is going to have some role, I think it's still going to be Bijan as the clear workhorse. So
Yeah, he's definitely not the favorite. You're probably getting some good value on a Bijan bet. Sinker, sorry to cut you off, buddy.
No, you're good. I was just looking up the odds right now at some of these places. So I think, like you said, you got to look at the odds, right? Like Jefferson's plus 600. Like I don't feel like good putting my money on that. It's kind of chalky. Chase is plus 800.
Little bit better. Little
bit better, yeah, for sure. A dark horse for me is Tyreek at plus 950. I feel like you're gonna get. It's not. You got Cup at plus 1300. I mean, that might be a sneaky bet too if he stays healthy. It's all about the odds, right? Honestly, Tommy, you should have hit this like 2 months ago. But if you're gonna go there, take a long shot on a guy like one of those, like a Cup or a Tyreek. And then I think rushing is Chubb, man. I think he's gonna be the guy.
Oh, do you? Donuts, go smash 8 beers and point to the board and take that guy.
And then send the ticket in, Donuts. I want to see it.
Yeah, let me see your $5 tickets. All right, this one came in. Last one. Why is your new co-host planning on having to do a calendar shoot in the spring? Ari, you're out on this one. We can leave this one's for Sinker.
Yeah. So, So our last place punishment for my home league is doing a calendar shoot, but I haven't been in the Losers Bowl in the past. Like, I don't think I've ever been in there, honestly. So, shout out Pete for putting this in here, but I think you need to worry about your own team right now.
Ooh, it happens. It happens to the best of us, man. No matter how good we think we are. We got one more question rolling in. Who says Pacheco can't have 100 a game this year? If he can stay healthy, I think Kansas City would love that. My money says Chubb, though. I agree. Pacheco for rushing leader, man?
Yeah, that's a long shot.
Go for it.
I think there's a world where Pacheco could score like 10 plus touchdowns, but I don't see them running the ball that much for him to get the volume to put up numbers to beat Chubb. Where
they throw so much, man, with Mahomes. I can't see that either.
Yeah. Eventually, though, the Chiefs and Mahomes will have a running back that I think rushes for 10 plus touchdowns. I just don't know if it's Pacheco, and I don't know when it's going to happen. So
that used to be Andy Reid's thing,
Right.
Maybe it is Pacheco. Maybe Pacheco is a screaming value this year.
Yeah, he was working on receiving work at camp when I went up there, so might be a sneaky pick, but I'm out on the Chiefs backfield unless I'm getting McKinnon super late.
And that's from a Chiefs fan. All right. Without further ado, we're going to give you 3 guys from a quarterback position, the running back position, and a wide receiver position. These are my guys, ladies and gentlemen. And we are going to start this off with quarterback. Does anyone want to go first, or should I do the honors?
Why don't you go ahead, Sanchi? Start us off.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy at the quarterback position has the best hair in the NFL. His name is Trevor Lawrence. And let me start off by saying this is the cheapest you'll ever be able to draft him. Dude's a stud, and he's only 23 years old. The sky's the limit in Duval right now, ladies and gentlemen. You could throw that rookie season out the damn window. Urban Meyer's gone. He has elite talent. He has elite mobility. And he has the weapons to take that next step. I think that's going to happen. Another year with Peterson and being in that system, I don't expect him to slow down. I will agree that the O-line's a little concerning in Jacksonville, but they added Calvin Ridley. That's only going to make Lawrence that much better. And I speak for Sinker and myself as we say this. He's our dark horse MVP candidate. At Fantasy Receipts, don't blast us too hard. Whatever. I'm not going to be shocked if Trevor Lawrence finishes in the top 3 this year. And I would almost bet that he finishes in the top 5. I think this Jaguars offense is primed to explode, and it's Trevor Lawrence to the moon, baby. How you guys feeling about T-Law? Ari?
Yeah, I mean, you can argue he's like the best value out of the top quarterbacks that, you don't have to spend a second, third, or even probably a fourth. He's probably going more like sixth, seventh in general this year. Obviously, adding Calvin Ridley only helps. It doesn't seem like he has missed a step, at least based off camp. Obviously, it's going to be a different story come week one when you're playing against actual defenses that are trying to, stop you and all that. But I mean, yeah, value-wise, you can't go wrong with Lawrence kind of in the 6th, 7th, sometimes even 8th round range, in 10, 12 team leagues.
Love it. I know you love Lawrence Sinker, but is there anything you want to add to that?
No, man. I think Lawrence was going to be my guy until you sniped him from me. So no, I like Lawrence. The only thing I've heard is just the rushing, the mobility, right? So it's like
he can do it.
I agree with you. I think he can too. But yeah, if he's just a pure pocket passer, he might not get to that high ceiling of that rushing ability that some of those quarterbacks have. But other than that, like his targets are amazing. I think the offense takes another step. The division sucks. Sorry, Lou. But yeah, I mean, I think he's a good choice, man. Yeah,
you know who's getting the ball on the one? It's not ETN. It's not Tank Bigsby. It's Trevor Lawrence with the QB sneak.
And probably.
He's going to do that. I don't care. He doesn't rush enough. He can if he has to. We'll see. I love Trevor Lawrence this year, and that's why he's my guy. Sinker, I think Greg's going to like this one. Who's your my guy at quarterback?
Yeah, man. Got to go with the one and only, the pride of Chicago, Justin Fields, man. I think Justin Fields with the rushing ability is kind of a no-brainer here. I think he's got the upside to be QB1 on the year. The offensive line should improve. It's dinged up right now, but if they get healthy to start the season, that line is going to 100% be better than it was last year. According to PFF, they have the 9th easiest schedule this year. People are saying Fields can't throw the ball. I'm not buying that. DJ Moore is a huge add for them. You got Chase Claypool on a contract year. I'm not a big Claypool fan, but he's a big body receiver. He's going to be the 2. And then Darnell Mooney is the 3. I think Mooney last year, was hyped up a lot. I think he's a perfect 3 on that offense. Fields ran for 140 yards in back-to-back games last year. No other quarterback's ever done that. 160 rushing attempts last year. The backfield is up for grabs. I just think everything's aligning that you could easily be QB1.
I'm with you there, man. Like, as much as I love Lawrence, if I see Fields on like that 4 or 5 turn in the early 5th, it is hard for me not to take him.
Yeah.
I think I had him last year, and you just those last like 7-8 weeks, whatever it was, dude was just, he looked different. He was fantasy points galore. The ceiling is crazy with this guy, Justin Fields. And I'm with you. I think he can really, I think, QB1 as far as fantasy is definitely in his range of outcomes. And with the rushing upside and, Lawrence, we question it. Fields, we don't question it. We're questioning the passing. But, rushing quarterbacks in fantasy football, that's money. So I'm with you there, bro. All right, how do you feel? Sorry, bro.
No, you're good. The passing itself doesn't even have to be like the best in the league with his rushing ability, So for him to get there, it's not. He doesn't have to be the best. With the new wide receivers there, Cole Kmet getting the contract, I think all the stars are aligning for him. But go ahead, Ari.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much completely agree with what you guys have said. To a lesser extent, you kind of hope that the bringing in DJ Moore helps him as a passer a little bit, like, to a lesser extent, like we saw with Diggs and Josh Allen, not to that same extent necessarily as a passer. But like you said, Fields is pretty much seemed like he had like a floor of like at least like 6 to 8 points rushing wise every week, maybe more if he scored a touchdown rushing. And so then you add on what should be a better year passing for him compared to last year. And yeah, there's definitely QB1 a QB1 ceiling for him this year.
Oh yeah, and I think Ari's got a QB for you if you don't feel like taking one that early and you choose to wait a little bit. Ari, who's your my guy at quarterback, bud?
Yeah, this is definitely the most boring guy out of every guy that we've picked for this episode, but it's Kirk Cousins. You look at the last 5 years, I have it right here. He was QB9 last year, and then QB11, QB11, QB13, QB12 the 4 years prior. So, I'm not against drafting a quarterback early. I think we saw last year it can be, even though the position is deep, getting one of those top 5 to 7, 5 to 8, if you want to call it, quarterbacks in the first, 2 to 7 rounds can definitely be a weekly difference maker. But if you do prefer to wait on the quarterback position, then Kirk Cousins is my kind of top target in the kind of the 10th to 12th round range. A full season with Hawkinson now, I think Addison is going to be better than what Thielen was last year by quite a bit. And then obviously Jefferson, you let go of Dalvin Cook. They're still going to run the ball with Madison or whoever they bring in, but it's still, a pass-heavy, high-scoring type of division, a lot of shootouts. Their defense is supposed to be a little bit better this year in Minnesota, but probably not enough to where they're still going to have to throw the ball a lot. So, again, probably the most boring guy out of the 9 guys that we are talking about today, but, you kind of know you're going to get – I think that's my QB 13 right now, but I think it could easily be QB 7 to 8 at the end of the season.
Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. We talked about the Chiefs and how they're going to throw the ball a lot. The Vikings are going to throw the ball a lot. And 95% of leagues, you're seeing Justin Jefferson go 1.1. You're seeing a lot of hype for Jordan Addison.
TJ Hawkinson,
yeah. Someone's got to get him the ball. That's Kirk Cousins. I really like that one, Ari. If you choose to wait on your quarterback, I think Cousins is money. All right, those are our 3 quarterbacks. We got Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, and Kirk Cousins. Take that information as you will. And we're moving on to the running back position. Sinker, I'll let you start with running backs.
Yeah, man. So my guy running back, Tony Pollard. So Tony Pollard from week 8 to 16, he was the second best fantasy running back. So we've already seen him establish himself as an elite running back. He became a my guy after Zeke signed somewhere else. So once Zeke was gone, the Cowboys confirmed Pollard's their guy. He's going to be their workhorse. He was one of 6 running backs last year to go over 1,200 yards and score 12 touchdowns. That's elite production. He didn't even have the full job. 13 games last year with 16 or greater touches. He averaged 20 fantasy points per game. I think it's going to be the Tony Pollard show in Dallas, man. They have I think the 9th ranked offensive line according to PFF. The line's great. I just think he's great value, man. I'm taking him anywhere at the late first, early second. So I'm not going to take him. I'm not going to take him ahead of like Bijan or Saquon, but I'm probably taking him above Derrick Henry.
Ooh, that's spicy right there. That Tony Pollard over Derrick Henry is spicy. But, I can see it, man. The guy's a home run hitter. It's what you want in fantasy. We all know he's not going to get 20 carries a game, but we do know that he could take any carry 80 yards to the house or any reception and 60 yards to the house. And, Dallas, as rough as it was for him last year, they're still a pretty damn good offense, and there's going to be a lot of points scored there. And I could see Tony Pollard having a monster season and continuing what he did last year. As a Giants fan, that kills me, but it's fantasy football. I've been seeing him slide to the late second, and I just think that's an auto draft there. I wouldn't take him over Derrick Henry, but maybe right after Henry, like around where Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle are kind of creeping. Yeah, maybe I'd consider Tony Pollard. I think that's pretty money there. Ari, how do you like Pollard this year?
Yeah, I think, we saw the flashes of him last year when Elliott missed time. And I think Jerry Jones said today or yesterday that he thought that they're set at running back. So it sounds like it's going to be Pollard. And then I guess Deuce Vaughn, I think right now is number 2.
Yeah.
So, the upside for Pollard, I think, is arguably top 1 to 3 if he can stay healthy. That's probably the biggest question. But I mean, I don't like worry that much about injuries, especially with the player like Pollard, who's not gonna. You figure he's not gonna be overworked to the point where he's seeing 25 carries. It's gonna be a mix of like 16 to 18 carries, maybe 16 to 20, and then maybe like 5 to 8 targets a game, and all of that combined, is a no-brainer if he falls anywhere near the 2-3 turn, and definitely worth consideration. Kind of even closer to the mid-second round in PPR leagues.
Oh yeah, Tony Pollard. Sinker's huge on Tony Pollard, and that's his running back, my guy. I'll probably catch some heat for mine because it's not very bold. I'm not reaching into the 6th round for this pick. But my guy this year is Nick Chubb. Ooh, I get it. I know. A guy going late 1st, early 2nd round, but not including a potential injury, man. This is as safe as a pick as they come. And like after Jefferson, CMC, Chase, Eckler, I'm considering Nick Chubb at 5. Call me crazy. We already talked about, screw the ADP, screw the tier list. Kareem Hunt's gone. And he had 44 targets last season, and somebody has to get those targets. And, I know Elijah Moore, Cooper, but my money's on Nick Chubb. And anyone who knows ball, they know that Nick Chubb can ball. They know he's elite. And I think those vacated targets are only making me like him more and more. I expect this Browns offense to be pretty damn good. So give me the league's best pure runner as a safe 1st-round pick. And I think he has a shot to lead the league in touchdowns. I really do. So Tommy Donuts, rushing yards and touchdowns, Nick Chubb would be my bet when you're in Vegas. In 2019, he had a career high in targets with 49. And this might be a hot take, but I truly think he could surpass that and get 50 this year, 50 plus. If that happens, Nick Chubb could finish as the best player in fantasy football. And if it doesn't, he's still locked in for an RB finish. So that sounds pretty damn good to me. He's as safe as they get. He's a baller. Try to get Nick Chubb in your fantasy drafts. I don't know if you guys are that confident in him as far as taking him at 5, but I'm feeling pretty damn good about him. Sinker, how do you feel about Nick Chubb?
I mean, I think it just depends the format, right? If you're playing in like a standard or a half-point PPR, like 5 is not completely crazy. I would like him a little bit later, towards the end of the 1st, especially in a PPR league. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Nick Chubb is, probably going to be the rushing leader. I don't see anyone else who is going to surpass him in that. No Kareem Hunt. If he gets any of the receiving work, like you said. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely he's as safe as a 1st-round pick as I think you can get outside of some of these wide receivers.
Love to hear that. Are you like Chubb, or you think I'm crazy?
No, yeah, I'm in complete agreement with you guys. The year that he had a career high in targets and receptions, I think it was 2019, I believe it was. Mm-hmm. Kareem Hunt was suspended 8 games that year, so obviously that had to do with that. And so now a whole season without Kareem Hunt. I think Chubb. When I said Bijan rushing leader, I completely blanked in that moment on Chubb, and Chubb would probably be where I go as well with that rushing leader. And then so if he can even get, I think he caught 36 passes his career high that year in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. So if he can get back in that like 35 to 40 range without Hunt for a full season, paired with his rushing, another guy I think can have overall RB1 to 3 type of ceiling.
For sure. If you got like a pick at 11 or 12, I just think he's a smash, man. Like I see teams starting off mocks with, I'm old school. I know receivers. I'm seeing teams start off with Nick Chubb, Barkley, or Nick Chubb and Henry. And like, that gets me going. I would love that start if I was late. Like I love my running backs, and I think Nick Chubb is one of the best, if not the best in the whole NFL. So I'm glad you agree. I'm glad you guys both agree that he has the potential to be as good as I think he's going to be. Ari, your running back, he's been gaining a lot of steam lately. He's definitely creeping up some draft boards. You want to talk about your running back, my guy?
Yeah, this guy's a little bit more exciting than Kirk Cousins. Staying in the same division, Jahmyr Gibbs. I was deciding actually between him and Montgomery for this. I like them both a lot. I've talked about it before on my account how I compare it to the Saints backfield during Kamara's rookie year when both he and Mark Ingram kind of had their own roles but worked well together, complemented each other, and they were both, I think, as high as like top 7 to 8 running backs, both of them that year, maybe at worst top 10. I think the Lions traded up for Gibbs, and you looked at their war room when they drafted Gibbs, and they all went crazy that they thought that he wasn't going to fall to them at, I think it was 12 overall. So I think that in of itself shows you how they view him and how they might utilize him. I believe also Dan Campbell was part of that Saints coaching staff during Kamara's rookie year in New Orleans as well. So that's part of it as well. You look at the 2017 Saints with Kamara's rookie year. He caught 80 passes and he still had 120 carries. And then Ingram, as his complement, had 230 carries. He had 12 touchdowns, and even he got 58 passes. We've seen Montgomery utilized as a receiver as well in Chicago. So, I put Gibbs as my guy, but it's kind of both of them, to be completely honest. Gibbs and Montgomery. Kind of Gibbs, you can get him around 3. I like a lot, but I value him in my personal rankings as early as like a top 20 and 22 overall type of pick. So kind of near that 2-3 turn, kind of in 12-team leagues. But yeah, I like both Gibbs and Montgomery a lot this year from an upside and kind of even security, kind of safety standpoint.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. You have to follow like the Lions. Anyone who watches football could see that they're on the rise and that they're going to be pretty damn solid this year. If not, really damn good. And you have to follow that draft capital. History shows if you take a running back that early, that guy's getting burned. And Gibbs is the type of player. People say he's undersized, but in PPR formats, I love it. I think he's going to catch a lot of passes, and I'm with you on Montgomery too. Like, I would love a piece of that backfield. Now, would you draft both on the same roster, or that limits your upside? How do you feel about that?
Usually I'm more so against that, but if you can get Gibbs in round 3 and Montgomery sometimes falls like as far as like round 7, like I don't think I could pass on him that late. Maybe not round 6 Montgomery, where I'm usually considering him, but round 7 in the 10 to 12 team league. I have no. It obviously adds some weekly risk having 2 guys on the same team. But if you get Montgomery in round 7, he might be on your bench unless you go both quarterback and tight end early. So obviously, if one of them misses time, the other is like an instant top 7 to 10 running back. Obviously,
For sure.
Yeah,
it's great insurance. Great insurance. Lou is asking how you feeling about Gibbs as your RB1, and you're clearly okay with it.
Right? Yeah, I think if you go Jefferson or Chase early, I think I like Gibbs a lot near that 2-3 turn.
Yeah, I've been seeing him go there. Sinker, sorry, man. How do you feel about Gibbs?
I love Gibbs, man. I'm all in on Gibbs. I was deciding between Pollard or Gibbs. Have you guys seen the video of them drafting him and how excited they were? Like, that alone just tells me like there's no way they're going to take this guy this early and not utilize his skill set. I love the take about Gibbs and Montgomery. If I can't get Gibbs, I'm 100% looking to get Montgomery. I think they both play a role, and I think they'll both be great for fantasy.
Yeah, that offense is going to be good.
Yeah, I just started a draft this weekend, Chase, Waddle, and then went Gibbs on the 3rd round, and I felt great about it.
Yeah, that's money right there. I love that. So there you have it. The running back, my guys. Nick Chubb, Tony Pollard, Jahmyr Gibbs. Check our socials. We'll have some graphics posted up. But we still have one more position to hit. Williams was touchdown leader last season, right? Correct. If Montgomery gets that goal line work, he's smashing that ADP. But who knows if they're going to be in that many situations again at the 1. I think that was kind of a weird situation.
I think they just want to mirror what they're doing last year, but bring in 2 guys they think are better at those positions, right? So like if Gibbs takes the Swift role, they think Gibbs is a better player. and I think they think Montgomery's better than Williams there. So the upside there is huge, man. Definitely look to grab those guys.
Yeah, they definitely upgraded on both. As much as I like Swift, and as much as I want to play Pokemon with Jamal Williams,
Yeah.
There's two big upgrades in Detroit. Watch out for that offense, and watch out for a possible Week 1 upset. Sorry, Sinker.
I mean,
Hey,
hey, man, it's a fantasy show. I'm probably betting Lions with plus points, to be honest with you. But it'll be interesting if it's the Gibbs show on Thursday night to start the season. That's going to be crazy. It'll be a welcome to the NFL game for him.
Yeah, we bet and we play fantasy with our heads, not our hearts. As much as we want to use our hearts, when you draft and bet with your heart too much, you get burnt. Use those noggins, people.
Just like Kareem Hunt, I think it was his rookie year. He played on that Thursday opening game, and he ran for I think 2 touchdowns and like 100. Or he fumbled early, but then
I panicked.
Yeah,
he fumbled. Yeah, he fumbled on his first play of his NFL career, and then he went on to score like 2 touchdowns, like 100 and some yards, like 40 yards receiving. That game was nuts, man.
And I loved Hunt that year. I was victory lapping the next day, and everyone was blowing up my phone like, "This is your guy? This bum fumbled his first carry," and then the rest is history that year. That's why we're talking to Andy Reid running backs. Maybe we'll get it this year. I don't know. Well, enough about running backs. We're gonna head to the wide receiver position. And since we just talked about Gibbs, let's stick with the same team. Ari, I'll let you kick off first.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't purposely mean to include 3 players here in the same division, but it's kind of how it worked out. Amon-Ra St. Brown is my guy for wide receiver. We saw it was his rookie year. The second half of the season, his rookie year, he was like, I think overall wide receiver 1 during that span, or he's at least like top 3. And then last year, he was wide receiver 7. This year, Jameson Williams, you have suspended 6 games. And then, I like Gibbs a lot. I think even Sam Laporta could be kind of a sneaky late tight end as well this year. But I mean, it's going to be a lot of Amon-Ra kind of in the short to mid range of the field. And then we saw a little bit, deeper targets more last year as well from Amon-Ra, kind of mixed in as well with Goff. So, I mean, in short, a lot of NFC North pieces I want in fantasy this year.
You heard it. The NFC North fantasy gold. Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's just I'm seeing people take him in the late first, and I can't even be mad at him. The guy's going to be peppered with targets, and as you said, Jameson Williams, 6-game suspension. He's going to be the guy, and he's going to eat. If he stays healthy, he's going to be elite. I love that selection, and if he falls to you on that turn, Nick Chubb, Amon-Ra, that's a hell of a start. How you feeling about St. Brown, Sinker?
Yeah, man, I love the pick. I think he's an easy pick there. I see Lou in the comments saying, "Oh, you should have taken the whole Lions, so you should have took Goff as your QB."
Yeah, I mean, he's another one of those kind of guys I like. Even later than Cousins usually is. Goff goes later than Cousins, but I wanted to at least keep it different team, same division.
We would have had to get you a Lions hat if you did that.
So Ari, how high are you taking him? Are you taking him, above Garrett Wilson?
Yeah, Amon-Ra is my wide receiver 5 right now after Jefferson, Chase, Kupp, and Tyreek. So
got it.
And I see some people, sometimes he goes as late as like wide receiver 9, 10. I like him after like Chubb and Diggs are my top 2 guys kind of near that 12, 13 turn. And I like Amon-Ra kind of right after those 2 in that range.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with that.
For sure. Ari talked about how he could see Sinker's next pick kind of being that Gabe Davis. All right, Sinker, let me hear your argument why he's not going to be.
Yeah, I wanted to pick someone, a controversial guy this offseason. If Greg's still in here, he's not going to like me anymore for this pick. But my guy at wide receiver is Christian Watson, and I get it. He could bust. But let me read off some statistics that I've found over the last couple of months. So Watson scored more fantasy points per route run than any wide receiver last year. It could be argued he didn't run as many routes as some of the receivers, but still, that's a stat that's out there. 6.7 yards after catch per reception. That was third in the NFL last year. He was wide receiver 9 in PPR formats from week 10 on. He's 6'5". He ran a 4.36 at the combine. This man is lethal with the ball. Come on. If you've seen this dude catch the ball and run, he fits the frame of an alpha wide receiver. I'm not worried about Romeo Doubs. I'm not worried about the talk of Aaron Rodgers was the whole reason why he broke out. Jordan Love is just as good as Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers was not good last year. And then every rookie wide receiver to hit 2.25 yards per route run last year finished the next year as a top 7 wide receiver. So he would literally be an outlier if he did not smash this year. So Christian Watson's my guy. I'm going to go to the grave with that one. I know a lot of people disagree. Ari, you disagree, but I'm buying into the stats, man. I think he's a smash right there. I'm taking him over Mike Williams, obviously. I'm taking him over Drake London. I'm taking him over Marquise Brown. He's just my guy.
I'm taking him over Mike Williams and Marquise Brown for sure. Drake London, I'm not too sure about that. I'm on the fence with Watson, but the more you keep talking about him, the more he's growing on me, man. Really all comes down to how Love can play, and a lot of people are saying he's going to make that next step. Would I put my money on it? Probably not. But at the price you're getting Watson, I think he could be worth the gamble and definitely be a huge return on the investment.
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's a guy in that range that next year you're going to wish you would have taken him there. So,
all right, you're not completely out, right? You'd still take him with the prices.
Like I've drafted him in the 5th round in some mocks. Like I was just labeling him as a player I could see turn into a Gabe Davis, but I agree with him over Mike Williams and Marquise Brown. I think Drake London kind of comes down to your roster at that point, whether you need kind of more safety or upside at that point. I think Watson pretty clearly holds more upside, London a little bit more kind of week-to-week kind of safety in that range. But I mean, yeah, I'm not like completely out on Watson unless it's going like, super early in like the early 4th round, let's say. But I've seen him drop a lot to like the 5th round, which I think his upside's worth it, kind of in that range.
Yeah, what you were saying is with the Gabe Davis thing is that he's just one of the riskier players in this year's draft, and sometimes high risk, high reward will pay off, but you have to be willing to take that risk. And I think if London's gone, I am willing. Sinker said he'd take him over all 3. I think he's one of the big question marks this year. So.
Yeah, it's just an upside play for me. I think in that range, off of everything I just named, he has the ability to be a top 10 wide receiver. And I know Drake London is a stud. I just don't know if that offense, bringing in Bijan, I just don't know if he can get there. But I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong in Drake London too. So
we're only human. It's a great take, man, and I'm with you. The more you talk about Christian Watson, the more I want to grab him in some of my home leagues, and we could do our victory laps together.
Yeah.
I'll round the receiver position out. As a Giants fan, it kind of hurts me, but it's Devontae Smith of the Philadelphia Eagles. And A.J. Brown was so damn good last year, and that can't be denied. Yeah, he finished as the wide receiver 6, and he's being drafted on the 1-2 turn. And you want to know where Devontae Smith finished? He was the wide receiver 9, and he only had 8 fewer targets than A.J. Brown. 8 fewer targets. And you got to keep in mind that this was Smith's 2nd year in the league. He's only going to get better. He's an absolute smash for me at his ADP, where I see him going in the 3rd round. I think that's just the auto draft for me. He had almost 1,200 yards last year with 7 touchdowns. He has plenty of room to grow. He's just somebody I don't want to leave my drafts without. He's a silky smooth wide receiver. He has elite route running in hands. And as I mentioned on our first episode with Spencer, I know it's a little bit of a hot take, but I wouldn't be shocked if he takes over that alpha role and has a better season than A.J. Brown. I know that sounds crazy, but I just wouldn't be. Especially with Brown seeing all the top coverage again. I don't know. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I wouldn't be shocked. You want fantasy players and good offenses, and great offenses, I should say. and it doesn't get much better than the one they have in Philadelphia right now. I'm expecting another wide receiver one finish, and I'm feeling really damn confident about it. And I'm at the point where I'm taking him over. More hot takes. I see myself taking him over Olave and Jalen Waddle, and people are going to come for my neck for that one. But I'm huge on the talent, and I'm huge on that offense as far as fantasy football goes, and I want my piece. Agree, disagree? Ari, how do you feel about Devontae Smith?
No, yeah, I'm with you. I have him right. I think one spot ahead of Olave myself, and then I have Waddle one spot ahead of him. So they're kind of all kind of back to back to back, kind of in that range. I mean, we've seen what they did last year in flashes with Devontae and AJ Brown, and we've seen these high-powered offenses have multiple top 8 to 10 receiver finishes. So it's not like just because Brown is going to get his work, Devontae can still get his as well, as we saw last year. I mean, even into the playoffs at times, Devontae was more productive than AJ Brown as well, in certain instances. So, yeah, I mean, I mentioned Gibbs and Waddle as my top targets of the 2-3 turn this year, and Devontae's kind of right behind those two, kind of in that early third round range.
Yeah, like if I see myself if I have like pick 3 and I don't like any of the, like sometimes, Olave and Waddle will be gone. So it makes the decision a little easier for me. But, I see myself going like, either McCaffrey or Chase in the third pick and then getting Devontae Smith and then hoping Gibbs falls right back in the third. And I'm feeling really great about that start. Sinker, you think I'm crazy or are you in on Smith?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in on Devontae Smith. I think where he's going right now in drafts is, where he belongs. So I don't think it's out of the question of a range of outcomes for him to finish above Olave, T. Higgins, Waddle. So I definitely, agree with that take. I think A.J. Brown's a stud, but that doesn't mean that the Eagles can't support 2 wide receivers that are top 10. So
they did it last year.
Exactly. I touched on the Eagles offense a little bit earlier. I think they're going to be, the best, if not top 3. So yeah, I mean, I like the take a lot. I try to push, Devontae to the third sometimes. So I'll try to go like Chase, Waddle, and hope he comes back. Cause I think starting with those 3 wide receivers has set you up for success, but it typically doesn't happen like that. So yeah, I mean, it's to the question earlier. If he's your guy, take him above those other guys because I think they're all in the same tier.
That's it. Go get your guys, and those are our guys. Recap: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Christian Watson, and Devontae Smith, and that'll do it for our My Guy episode. How you guys feeling? Feeling good? Ready to go into some real drafts? Smash? Take some money?
Yeah, man. So Christian Watson at Sinker FF. Everyone at me when he breaks out and I told you to. No, yeah, I feel good, man. Good episode.
I love it, man. Ari, we just want to say thanks for hopping back on. I've been following your Instagram account for years. You're a hardworking dude. You're one of the best accounts on there, if not the best. And just want to say we appreciate what you do for the industry and the community. And if you want to take some time, take a couple of seconds, let the people know what you're about, where to find you. Go for it, man.
It's storming here if you guys can hear that. But yeah, thank you again for having me on this year. It was a lot of fun again. You can find me on Instagram at fantasy.footballexpert. I've been writing that account since 2015 and still slowly kind of grinding it out as well day by day. So yeah, thank you again for having me on. I hope to be on again soon.
Yeah,
how many followers you at now?
A little over 70K.
70K. Ari helped you win leagues.
This
Follow
dude is
him on
money,
Instagram.
people.
Show him love. Ari, we appreciate you coming on the show, man.
Thank you so much, man. And go if you're drafting before our next episode, go kill that, man. Go kill that shit. We'll be here all year for you. We'll have another episode before the really big draft season starts up, the end of the month, but we'll be here all year. We're going to help you win some leagues just like we did for Joe in Boston, our guy, baby. And that's a wrap on the My Guy episode, gents. For Ari, for Sinker, I'm Sanchi Value. Thank you for watching Fantasy Fanline. We'll see you next week. Peace.